Hello everyone, welcome to another match, SNK GP 150cc speedrun tournament here on SpeedGaming. I am Lafungo, and I'll be commentating this match with KVD and Jarm0u, two of the top-ranked players, both on the speedrun leaderboard for this game, as well as in the group stage of this tournament. Both of them are currently undefeated. As a reminder, there are 8 players competing in Division 1 for this tournament. Jarm0u has won 5 matches so far. KVD has won 4. So this should be pretty exciting. In case you're not familiar with either of these players, KVD is Dutch and been around in the SPK community for ages. He's currently ranked second in the All Cup leaderboard on speedrun.com. Hopefully my mic is a little bit better now. It wasn't great. Let me know if I can try to improve it, by the way. While Jarm0u from Belgium, she's currently ranked 4th on the All Cup leaderboard for this category. Let's see if there's anything I can do about my mic. My guess is not really, fortunately. Try to turn out my output volume, but I don't think that will really help. Okay, well, I assume players will be starting soon on StarCup. So I received word via Twitch chat that Jarm0u, as the lower-seeded player in this match, pushed back Special Cup. So we will only see Special if there is no team sweep. As a reminder, this is the first of 3 Cup wins. I'm not sure what the hold-up is. Hopefully my audio is not too bad. Not sure what's going on. Okay, so we are off to the races. Let's get on the StarCup. Very technically demanding and difficult track. Well, up really. Starting off AP1, water sliding. KVD is a heavy favorite on this particular track because he typically gets a low 40s without any items. Jarm0u can achieve that, but it's a little bit more of a struggle. The main issue on this track is the fish after the big water boost that KVD just hit. But since he had a boost going into the fish hit, he survived without losing too much speed. Meanwhile, Jarm0u has lost a bit more speed than that. So I mentioned earlier that both of these players are undefeated going into this match. However, KVD has clearly been more dominant in his wins, whereas Jarm0u, the nice double hit, fish and nanner, Jarm0u has had a much shakier road to her undefeatedness so far. So she has 5 match wins, as I mentioned earlier, but I believe 4 of them were 3-2s. So all nail-biters down to the wire. Meanwhile, KVD, I believe, has only dropped, I want to say, 2 cups in 4 matches, to give you an idea. And that's including a match against the other top-seeded player in this tournament, in the form of Neo. Jarm0u has yet to face Neo. She'll be facing him next week. So Jarm0u got all the lower rated players out of the way and beat them all, and is now left to face the 2 titans of the game in KVD and Neo. As we see KVD with a 10-second lead after a fairly sloppy KB1 for both players, but KVD getting the best of it. On this track, both players will really be looking for a feather. So that'll be some easy, free time save, unless they continue the apparent tradition of this tournament of messing that feather shortcut up. It's too late for KVD to get one, and I believe it is also too late for Jarm0u, since if you pick up a feather on lap 5, it doesn't really do anything. So sub-minute for KVD, despite some struggles. Jarm0u is not quite on pace to make that. So this is a pretty significant lead for KVD. That being said, it's Star Cup, so between the next 2 tracks, Vanilla Lake 1, Bowser Castle 3, there is a lot of potential to lose time. Glad to hear my audio sounds better. Thank you for confirming that, chat. So Vanilla Lake 1, also known as worst track in the game. KVD misses a zoom start because either PTSD or somehow he actually wants to play a little bit more of this track, but I doubt it. Missing a zoom start is worth 10 push-ups, in case you are not aware, in the specific context of NTSC speedruns. There's some added nuance there, but I won't go into it in this moment. There's a lot of debris, lots of things to hit. There's always something you can crash into on this track, which makes for a very bumpy ride the best of times. Neither player has gotten any power items so far. We're looking for either mushrooms or feathers to save time in this game. Next track is the main source of potential, as KVD crawls to the finish line with a difficult final lap, which provides Jarm0u with an opportunity to cut back on some of the lead. It actually gets about 4 seconds back. However, KVD still has a substantial lead, so even if he mucks about on Bowser Castle 3 a little bit, this should be fairly straightforward. Worth noting that KVD has mentioned in commentary for last week that he's very afraid of Jarm0u winning a single cup, because if she wins a single cup, then odds are it'll be going to Cup 5, and she's won all of her Cup 5s so far in this tournament. So I suppose it was, he was being a little facetious, but at the same time, it seems clear that Jarm0u is very content or very able to perform under pressure. I'm not so sure she's happy about having to perform under such pressure, but she can certainly do it. Have her execution down. But first, Jarm0u needs to actually win some cups, and it doesn't seem like this is going to be one that will go her way. So BC3 is always a struggle, especially in one-player mode, which is what players are competing in this tournament. In particular for this track, because you have the thwomp wall. There's a narrow section. Watch the left screen. Watch KVD going for the feather. Beautifully executed. That was the main time save I was talking about at the end of Vanilla Lake 1. So 113 is very solid. Essentially anything under 120, without an item especially, is very solid, and anything under 115 with a clean feather is very good. And when I say very good, I mean it's world-class time. 126, pretty solid. It's very easy for things to snowball out of control and end up over 130, even if you're a top player. So 126 is decent. So it'll keep Jarm0u keep the ball rolling for her. But she'll need to not make the mistakes she was making early in the cup if she wants to win some points against KVD. So this is MC4, aka MC Boar, aka Resident Sleeper. There's really not much that's going to be happening here. Almost certainly, especially considering that KVD has more than 20 seconds lead going into MC4, so enjoy watching them drive around as KVD cruises in to 1-0 to kick off this match. So there's word in chat from Jarm0u, who is reffing this match. that KVD only got about 5 minutes warm-up before this match. So he could be caught off guard by Jarm0u if things don't go his way. That being said, KVD's base level is sufficiently high that he shouldn't have too much of a problem. At least, the very least, putting up a threat. Straight out beating Jarm0u. Generally speaking, the expectation here would be that if Jarm0u does win, or if she wants to pose a serious threat to winning this match, she really has to step her game up. 125 is a very solid MC4 by KVD. So that's 1-0 for him. Nothing too surprising so far, except that, perhaps players are a little bit sloppy overall, but, starting a match off in Star Cup is far from trivial. And no real RNG coming into play yet. The only significant item was KVD's feather on BC3 when he was already far in the lead, so it did not really determine the outcome of this particular cup in any way. So, next cup is going to be Mushroom, as Mole whispers to us in the chat. Now, Mushroom is much more prone to a single mistake or a single item determining the outcome of the match. I believe both cups that KVD has lost so far have been on the basis of an item throw by a CPU, particularly a Yoshi egg snipe on the final turn, the final hairpin of Mario Circuit 2 in both occasions. So perhaps Jarm0u can tap into her direct line to the Kart gods and request that Yoshi do his thing again. If Jarm0u is behind at that point, perhaps that won't even be needed. Perhaps Jarm0u will get one of her patented Miss Donut Plains 1 zoom start into double Jesus Shrew. That's always an option. Or, perhaps even just outdriving KVD. That's always an option as well. So, they should be kicking off shortly into Mushroom Cup. We're off. Seems that KVD has a few frames advantage loading into MC1. For Mario Circuit 1, both players will be looking for a sub 50 time, even without any items. Mushroom here will save roughly 1 second if executed correctly. So not a huge deal, but you'll always take it, especially within the context of a Mushroom Cup speedrun. Otherwise, something like 48 or 49, assuming no mistakes, is what we're looking at. Very similar lines so far. KVD opting for a 2-boost strategy, which is what most players will go for, but sometimes if you're really trying to optimize, we'll go for a 3rd boost on the 2nd turn. But in this context, it's not worth the risk. I think that's the right call on his part, as he gets a very low 48. Jarm0u clipped some sand on lap 5. It cost her about a second. Yeah, a bit less. So now we get into Donut Plains 1, which is the first of 2 tracks in this cup where an item can provide a significant time save. So we're looking here for a Mushroom, which will allow for a Jesus Shrew. As KVD misses his zoom start and Jarm0u, so they're owing more and more push-ups to the SMK community. Perhaps they should learn how to utilize the visual cue in order to increase their success rate at getting a zoom start. You can ask them about it or inform them about it in the post-match interview as needed. In any case, normally without a missed zoom start, a strong time without any items would be just above the minute, but driving at that pace for all 5 laps is rather difficult, so essentially anything the 102 to 104 range is sort of what you would expect, but that's with a zoom start, which neither of these players got. Fortunately for KVD, he gets the mushroom on lap 5, which does not allow him to do the Jesus route, so he'll only save about half a second to a second. Still getting a 101. 101 with a missed zoom start is very strong. And Jarm0u once again makes a mistake on lap 5 as she's approaching the finish line, and this one is going to be much more costly than the Mario Circuit 1 mistake. Lost about 7 seconds, as you can see there. So instead of a 104, she got a 111. So I see a comment in chat about being a very casual SMK player, very rarely missing their zoom starts. One thing to consider is that if you are not in the front half of the pack, then your frame window for getting a zoom start is doubled. So if you're in first to fourth, your frame window is 4 frames, and if you're in fifth to 8th, your frame window is 8 frames, which is why even players such as these that have a fairly low success rate for competitive SMK players will typically get essentially 100% of their zoom starts on the first track of the cup, since you start in 8th place, compared with, say, an 80% success rate or 85, well, maybe 90. Although I'm not sure. I'm perhaps giving them too much credit to assume they'd get 90% success rate at their zoom starts. But enough about that. KVD maintaining his lead, so they both get 49s on Ghost Valley 1. Anything sub 50 without an item is right on the money. Bowser Castle 1 is the second opportunity in this cup for a significant time save with an item. Both players will be looking for a feather from laps 1 to 4, which will enable them to loop around right at the first corner. They can cut across to the lava jumps directly. And instead of a 14-second lap, they'll finish in roughly 7, I want to say. If it's executed cleanly with no wall clip. Ooh, KVD going for a, we affectionately call a Geo long boost, and gets punished for it. That particular move, going for the long boost at a corner on a Bowser Castle before the finish line straight, is something that is really characteristic of one of the players in our community. His tag is Geo, shoutouts to him. That move doesn't save much time, and it's also fairly risk prone, or crash prone rather. So generally not something that people will go for in an environment where they don't have to, or don't feel they have to. But KVD has sufficient lead that it doesn't really matter. 112 is very solid without a feather. And Jarm0u does not get a feather, so this is pretty much over going into the final track once again. And yes, I see there's some more discussion in the chat about zoom starts. And yes, it is true that nerves definitely impact your ability to get zoom starts. When you're feeling under pressure, it becomes much harder to hit that window. And also, these players compete in all facets of SMK. And unfortunately for us as SMK players, the window for which you can get a successful zoom start is different depending on which version of the game you're playing, but also which mode of the game you're playing, which is very much not fun. That being said, on the flip side, why push-ups are allocated for this mode and not any of the others is that NTSC Grand Prix is the only mode with a visual cue, very distinct visual cue for getting the zoom start. In case you're not aware of what that visual cue is, since it gets referred to a decent amount in these matches. When a track is about to start, there is text that appears in the middle of the screen in white, which in the American version, or the PAL version as well, says round 1 or round 2, etc. Or on the 5th track of a cup says final, equivalent text in the Japanese version. And you want to start pressing the gas when this text is half scrolled away. That will give you your zoom start. So KVD gets a 7:14, which is a very solid. In fact, I'd say it's a very strong cup time to get, especially considering he did not get a Jesus-0u or a feather, or BC1 feather in this cup. So very, very strong. And 70-44 for Jarm0u is, well, it's a product of trying to gain back some time in later tracks for mistakes she had made primarily on Donut Plains 1. And so far, indeed, KVD is perfectly applying his tactic of not letting Jarm0u win a cup as we move on to Flower. So if Jarm0u wants to stay alive in this match and play against KVD on Special Cup, she will have to win this Flower Cup. Now, Flower Cup is particularly prone to item RNG. There are 2 finish line feathers and a Jesus-0u that are available, as well as very strong long boost possibilities on Choco Island 1. So for this first track, Choco Island 1, there is a multi-second time save available for either a mushroom or a feather pickup. The mushroom would be used on any lap to generate a long boost. This long boost can last as long as 2 full laps, save multiple seconds that way. Alternatively, with a feather, this will be kept until the final lap in order to cut across some off-road and jump across the wall that's perpendicular to the finish line and trigger it that way. Yes, low battery beep. Please enjoy the sound of my smoke alarm as it beeps. I did in fact change the battery for it, but it continued beeping, so I will need an electrician's help, or so I've been told, in order to fix this. I cannot detach it from my ceiling for some reason. It has been attempted, but it's does not seem feasible. Meanwhile, long boost for Jarm0u on the right side of the screen. Watch Boozer bounce into the stratosphere and then come back down. She was afraid, did not go for the wall hop, but still very solid time save. So there begins perhaps some good RNG for Jarm0u, which uncharacteristically was lacking in the first 2 cups of this match. Perhaps she was partially countered by the fact that KVD has also been getting very good RNG throughout this tournament so far. And so for the first time, we see a lead for Jarm0u in this match, or for a given cup in this match. And, for over 4-second lead to go into GV2. So here for GV2, the time save comes from picking up a feather, as KVD misses yet another zoom start in multiplayer competition. Missing the zoom start on GV2 is typically considered the worst one in the game, but for speedrunning, it's still very bad, to be clear, but it's more debatable. Meanwhile, Jarm0u gets a feather, which I believe will mean in her mind that she has to go for the finish line feather. It's not clear to me whether this is a good decision or not. I'm not sure what her success rate is at it, but you'll see her go for it, so enjoy and let's see if she gets it. Excellent, beautiful, she got it. Congrats, Jarm0u. In this case, the outcome proves her decision to be a good one. And you can see the time save. She finished the lap in under 4 seconds, as opposed to a 9-second lap or so. So her lead grows. She now has 4 seconds from Choco Island 1 believe 7 from Ghost Valley 2. So that should be over 10 seconds lead going into Donut Plains 2. Donut Plains 2, once again, there's an opportunity for a multi-second time save with an item. This is perhaps, I say this with my own personal bias, but perhaps the easiest one to execute properly. Here we're looking for a mushroom, because feathers are not available on Donut Plains tracks, as they are also not available on Mario Circuit tracks, in case you didn't know. And here, the mushroom allows us to do a Jesus room, which is a mushroom that we launch next to the lake, the lake of water. Not to be confused with lakes of fire or lava that may exist on other tracks, or lakes of pure void. And this mushroom we activate and then jump to bounce over the water, and which will launch us sufficiently high to clear a wall and save a few seconds. But so far, neither player has a mushroom. But it seems increasingly likely that Carol will fail in his strategy to not let Jarm0u win a cup in this match. As Jarm0u gets a solid 119, essentially anything under 120 in match conditions is quite good, as KVD will also scrape that together despite getting hit by a CPU item. So Jarm0u's lead is maintained at roughly 11 seconds. As we go into Bowser Castle 2, the fourth and final track of this game to contain, or track of this cup, to contain a significant item shortcut possibility, as Jarm0u misses her zoom start. And so does KVD. Clearly KVD does not want to win this cup. So Jarm0u burned out on her miss zoom, which meant she started pressing gas too early, and that will cost her slightly more time than KVD's miss by pressing too late. However, Jarm0u compensates for this by picking up a feather, which I assume she will also go for on the final lap. Wow, she saved herself from a lava drown there. She hit a bumper, which launched her behind the next bumper, so she was past it, which would have led to a drown, but there's a very small strip of concrete behind each of these bumpers, and you have essentially one frame to hop again on that very small strip before you drown. So very well done to her to salvage that bumper hit. So she should be entering lap 5 now. We'll see if she gets the feather. This is a huge time swing, whether you get it or not. And she was too far to the right, which means, oh, this is the worst case scenario. Meanwhile, KVD picks up a feather and also misses it. And he does not get the worst case scenario. So you can compare where both players got dropped off. Jarm0u was too far right the entire time and got dropped in front of the finish line. So she had to loop back again. Whereas KVD simply went to the left of the finish line, but failed to cross it and trigger the finish line in midair. So he got dropped back to where he launched himself from. And you can see the time differential in their lap 5 splits. It's very unfortunate. Perhaps Jarm0u finally cracking under all the pressure that has been building up for her throughout this tournament. And with that, another missed zoom start by Jarm0u, that's pretty much it. So KVD had a 2-second lead going into this track, but that's increased to at least a 5-second lead, and that's something that is unlikely to be made up at this point. It's closer than the previous 2 cups at this point, but it's a really unfortunate. I feel like I have to call it a throw on Jarm0u's part. Yeah, there's some discussion, some debate in this this tournament format as to whether it's worthwhile to keep tabs on what your opponent is doing, and try to get some sense of how far ahead or behind you are. And I mention this now because had Jarm0u been aware of her lead going into Bowser Castle 2, she may not have chosen to go for the finish line feather. She could have instead, for example, gone for the first corner feather, which has a higher success rate and is not as risky, still saves multiple seconds. And with that, she would have still had a lead going into MC3. But in any case, that is not how things played out in this match. KVD, in the end, succeeds in his strategy of not letting Jarm0u win a cup and sweeps this match 3-0. So after 5 matches, KVD is undefeated, has only dropped 2 cups in total, both of them triggered by a Yoshi egg snipe on Mario Circuit 2, lap 5. Meanwhile, Jarm0u has taken her first loss of this tournament, and also only her second match out of 6 that did not go to the wire in Cup 5. So GG to both of them. Very well played. I assume that at least one of them will come in for an interview at this point. I expect no small amount of salt from Jarm0u's part, based on, understandably so, based on the outcome of that Bowser Castle 2. That aside, I'm not sure where these two players will at. Perhaps KVD will be relieved to have won that Flower Cup. But we'll see. We'll see if they show up. In any case, while waiting to see if they choose to arrive for an interview, I will mention that there is another match in this tournament happening later today. So that will be at 10 p.m. Central European time, which if you're not in Central Europe, that's in 3 hours. Oh, I see. I was responsible for... Whoop. I did not... Okay. Unforfeit. Jarm0u did not forfeit. Okay. They should be sent invites. Thank you, Diesel Pilot, for helping me out. So they should have received their invites, and now that I've unblocked them from being able to join, perhaps we will see them arrive shortly. But yes, as I was saying, in 3 hours, or just under 3 hours, there will be another match in this tournament between Jarm0u and Eric. Jarm0u is sitting at 4 losses out of 4 matches. Eric is at 2 wins, 3 losses. Perhaps Mole will be able to pick up his first win of the tournament in that match. Eric is already declaring that he will go for the mid-lap feather on Rainbow Road. So he's looking to potentially disqualify himself on Special Cup if they play it, because Jarm0u will push back Special Cup and very much does not want to play Special Cup throughout this tournament. Oh, perhaps Mole will change his strategy. Okay, it doesn't seem like either player is showing up for an interview. I'll send them a quick message. One moment. Okay, I marked them both as done, so... Alright, it's not... Okay, let me see if I can manually send them an invite. see KVD's timer is running. Very nice.
Hello.
I stopped. Ah, hello. Welcome. You finally made it.
Yeah, I missed my Zoom start, so I'm late.
Congratulations, despite your missed Zoom starts, winning this match, clean sweep, 3-0.
Thanks.
How are you feeling about it?
Mixed. I wasn't happy with my performance today.
I suspect that's a shared sentiment.
And I think from what I saw in the final cup, Jarm0u was like on world record pace with the items he was getting. So it's kind of a shame that it didn't materialize into at least a PR.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about world record pace, but it was certainly very, very fast.
Yeah, because Feather GP2, Feather BC2 is usually like those two ingredients are sufficient to create such a pace.
Shroom on CI1 as well.
Exactly. So, well, sir.
Sir, well, congrats.
Thanks.
Flawless. What's the tournament so far? GG.
I would not call it flawless, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but well, you're undefeated, and that was wow. I don't know how you what you thought about the match itself. I think to me, I only started playing quote unquote well during Flower Cup because the rest, well, of course, let alone the Zoom starts, but I knew who I was playing against, so I didn't really bother. But yeah, it took me time to come into the match.
Yeah, I feel
and yeah,
that
the Flower Cup was heartbreaking.
I feel that if there was ever a moment that you could have, like, at least made my life difficult, it would have been today, because I missed even more Zoom starts than normal, and I wasn't really playing that well. I mean, Mushroom Cup, I guess, was okay, but the other cups were a little bit below average.
Yeah, well, no, Flower Cup, I think I had like 0 item or a mushroom on BC1, so you can't really do anything with that. And I crashed on BC1, so that was bad, and I missed the DP1 Zoom, and I had a turn of shame also there, so yeah, I did not take all my chances. And yeah, KB1 was awful, with a fish hit that resulted in a banana hit, thanks to DK.
Glorious. Yeah, that was a nice combo.
Yeah, I got my first crashed Cooper Beach 1 of the tournament as well. 2 fish hits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for you, impressive.
2 fish hits, and you still finished 10 seconds ahead of Jarm0u.
Oh my god.
As a reference point.
Yeah,
it was a pretty start to this match.
I will also say that there are 2 more tropes for me this tournament. Is that so far I have missed every single VL1 Zoom start.
Lol.
And also I got Yoshi sniped again. So those are the 2 tropes.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, on the topic of Zoom starts, well, first of all, the eternal question: have either of you ever considered using the visual cue?
I am using the visual cue. I am using the visual cue. I just suck.
I am starting to try to use it, but I really think that it doesn't work on Japanese cartridge.
Well, then I wonder how I get my Zoom starts when I play Toad % with Peril.
I don't know, but I don't want to talk about Zoom starts with you because you're ball on that topic.
So I'd like to mention that in chat by Jarm0u, you were dubbed the Push-Up King and Push-Up Queen.
Yeah, I saw that.
Make of that what you will. But I think it reflects your status as high-level speedrunners in this game.
Well, at least I'll have a title.
I mean, it is impressive how you make up for all these push-ups you owe, and still get very solid times despite all your misses.
Are you talking to Jarm0u to me?
Yes.
I think that is an advantage of playing NTSC. On PAL it would be even far worse, and I would not be getting competitive times with the number of Zoom starts that I'm missing.
So actually, I have a more serious question about the match, for Jarm0u at least.
Yeah?
So, well, okay, first of all, as a preface, do you keep track of what your opponent is doing at all when you play these matches?
From to time, yes. But I did today because, well, first I knew that I was playing against KVD and that my chances of winning were really. So I was like, okay, let's just see how it is. And I think that during Flower Cup, I didn't because I was really focused because with the RNG I had, I felt like this might be the cup and the turn of the match.
Sure,
So also because it was a meme because Carol told me like if I win a cup that he's going to feel in trouble because this is what I did during this tournament with all the 3-2 matches. This would have been fun, but then Lakitu decided to be really mean on BC2.
Yep.
And I knew when he put me back in front of the finish line, I just knew it was over.
Well,
So
okay,
yeah,
I have,
from time to
I have a
time I
follow-up
kept track,
question
but yeah.
to that. Did you consider at all not going for the finish line feather on BC2? Because you had such a
No.
lead going into BC2 that you could have done, for example, the first corner feather and still had several second
Yeah,
leads.
but I missed my zoom start on BC2, and so I was already a bit stressed because of that. Also, I know that MC3 is next, and that I can't drive on MC3.
That's not true.
probably.
That's not true anymore. Come on.
Sometimes I fluke a good MC3, but I really don't like this track, and I was
Okay.
proven right today again. So
Well-
I really wanted to keep as much lead as I could, but that didn't age well.
I honestly think, and I might be wrong, of course, but I think you would have won if you didn't do the feather on BC2. Flower Cup, that
Maybe,
is.
but
I would still feel very confident about winning Special Cup. No offense, but I think you would have
no,
won.
sure, and this is why exceptionally today I banned Special Cup because I know that you are on fire on that cup lately. GG on the the very recent world record, by the way, and the.
Actually, funnily
This is
enough,
why I knew.
yesterday
I
I
had to
tanked
play
Special
Mushroom.
Cup. Yesterday I was on PR pace, like actual PR pace, not just splits PR pace, by like 10 seconds, and I completely tanked Special Cup. So you never know.
Yeah, no, you never know, but statistically, this wasn't advantageous to me yet.
Too bad about the BC2 feather though. I would have liked to
Yeah,
see you
really,
do
this
a
is
very
really
good
a
time.
bummer.
Because I'm pretty sure you would have
really-
PR'd.
I think so, yeah, and I would have won at least a cup.
Also.
The goal average, it would have still been good.
Yeah. I would also like to add,
this
Lafango,
is very sad, but
to answer your question as well.
Yeah.
So the previous matches, I had not been watching the opponent's actions much, if at all. This time I decided to do it. And it was actually a little bit distracting. So I'm not sure if I'll do it again. But I noticed that Jarm0u was doing very well on on Flower Cup, and I pretty much already like acknowledged the fact that I was gonna lose if he just kept driving normally.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
you know, anyway, it's okay. I mean, I'm still yeah, a bit of regret. I wish I could have played better against you because I had to pull my A game, but I didn't. So that's maybe a regret.
But you know what? You
what?
get a retry in the top 4, and you get to play me against me and Lafango at ESA. So
That's true. That's true. So yeah, see you on Saturday, I guess.
see you on Saturday.
Yes, so for those watching this match who may not be aware, KVD, Jarm0u, and I will be participating in ESA Winter. We have a 3-way race in the All Cups category of this game. And that will be one of the last runs of ESA. It will be Saturday, roughly at 7 p.m. Central European time. So, you can convert that into your own time zone, or you can go to esamarathon.com/schedule to find that already converted into your local time zone. It should be a very exciting match. We'll have commentary by Sargoth and Fire Waster. Excuse me. Both excellent commentators for SMK. So it should be jam-packed fun all around. Make sure you tune in for that.
Can't say it in a better way.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I think on that note, might wrap it up. Is there anything else, KVD Jarm0u, that you'd like to say?
Let's
Let's
pay our push-up PSA. Before...
I look forward to watching you both pay your dues.
It's a lot. It's like 250 at this point, I think, for me. Because today was horrible.
Yeah, we'll see what we'll do. Well, thank you, Lafungo, for the comms. GG again, KVD, and good luck for your remaining matches in round robin. And yeah, as you said, see you in the semifinals. We'll see.
Well, we don't know whether we'll face in semis, but we'll face in top 4.
No, true.
Well, actually, not even sure about that either. There is one player you don't play in the top 4.
Okay.
Come think about it. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see. So good luck for the rest, and
yeah, you too.
Well, I hope that the audience cheered and enjoyed this match and this tournament. So tune in for more. When's the next match, by the way? Let me just.
It's a 1 hour, I think.
Yeah, sure. I think it was another
45.
Is it Eric against Jarm0u?
Yes. So.
Yeah, it should be fun.
It's in.
Promising.
Don't get misled by KVD's lack of understanding of time zones. It's in 2 hours 45.
Oh.
Okay, thank you for correcting.
Yeah, I am. I barely slept last night, and I had a busy day at work.
Time zones are hard and not helped by fatigue.
So are Zoom starts.
as it turns out, yes. But still pretty good driving execution despite that.
Yeah, that's something that I can do in my sleep apparently. But I would like to. I really hope that Jarm0u gets a little bit more lucky. Because so far this tournament, he's been getting poor item RNG and very trolley CPUs. I just hope that he can do a nice match that he will be happy about. So at this point, he deserves one. But SMK it does not work like that, unfortunately. Not always.
No. Not all of us can be the Belgian Eagle, even though she didn't spread her wings that much in this match.
Except the Flower Cup.
Except a Flower Cup. It's like...
yeah. I had a BC3 feather that I missed, I think. Or was it during my warm-up? I don't remember.
That was warm-up. Carol, KVD got a feather on BC3, which was executed beautifully.
Nice.
Thank you.
No, I think I'll rewatch just for the comms and the shades and everything.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it from us for now.
Yeah. Thanks for comms, Lafungo.
Yeah. Thanks for putting on a good show. GG again to both of you. Despite the mixed feelings about the match, but there'll be more. There's always more SMK to play.
Usually is mixed feelings with speedruns. I think. Even when you PR, it's like, yeah, you could have done this better or that better. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's really up and down. I was so happy after GV2 and then BC2 happened. So yeah, you can have harsh mood swings when you're playing SMK.
I think we're continuously interrupting Lafungo's wrapping up attempts.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. All right, bye.
Now I sort of know how Sargoth feels when he's doing Karthritis. Look that up if you don't know what it is. All right. Okay, Jarm0u and KVD, I will kindly ask you to stop talking now. Thank you again for your match, and see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.